Hi children, welcome to Story Time on Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season. As today, children, we are joined by KP. Say hello, KP.
Hello, KP.
And Kev number 2. Hi, Kev number 2.
Hi, everyone.
I like this chair. It's like quite Jackanory, isn't it?
Do you see now, Kev? Do you see what I have got to put up with time and time again on here?
Yeah, it's hard work. At least there's 2 sensible ones on this time.
Well, I'd still put that down to just you.
We're definitely upscaling in terms of technology here, though.
I'm impressed.
Right then, season restart. It's happening. We've got some fixtures. And we're going to get back underway. Are we excited?
Go on, Casey. I'll let you have that one first.
Absolutely ecstatic. Can't wait to get it back up and running. And it ain't going to be the same because we can't go, obviously. But to see the boys pull on the mighty Redvee again and get back out on the field, albeit it's in Leeds for the first 2 rounds, but then they return home to the Totally Wicked, and 5 games in the first month, all on TV. The Challenge Cup game on BBC 2, I believe, 5 o'clock on the 22nd. So yeah, can't wait to see it all unfold. And
how about you, Kev, KP?
Yeah, same. That's it. You have a look at the scheduling, and it does seem quite tight for some games. You have a look as you get later into it, round 17 and 18, where you've got it penciled in for the 22nd and 23rd of October, and the 25th and 26th of October, and that's going to be a tight turnaround. But it's a necessity to get the season in and finished if we can. Same as Kev, though. I'm just looking forward to it coming back, and it's been good watching, being able to watch some live sports. As we said, we follow the German football. We've had the Premier League back and the Championship. It's good that we're getting rugby back.
How's this? We've got fixtures on the screen.
Impressive, that.
Tell you what.
Well, with them fixtures on the screen, you can see like round 17 and 18, and then rounds 20 and 21, and even 22 as well. They are very, very bunched up. And obviously, I mean, we've come into this break off the back of a loss. Saints not playing as they did last year, to be expected because we've got a new coach. But it's going to be tough turnarounds when you think you've got Leeds and then Salford rounds 17 and 18. I mean, and then you're going to follow that up with Wigan. There's no easy game there, is there?
Yeah,
when's the Challenge Cup final? Because there's that to go into the mix as well, isn't there?
I think that's due to be. Haven't they provisionally booked Wembley for the 10th of October, around about then?
Is it the 10th?
Which means Wakefield could potentially away could be postponed should we reach it. The one that stands out for me there is that Catalan away game on the 5th and the 6th or 5th or 6th of November, and then Hull at home a couple of days later. Yeah, that's a tough turnaround.
It is. That's it, and we're going to see the full use of teams of club squads, and you're going to get your reserve players having to put their hands up and prove why they should be in our 25 or 30 man squad. And to be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how coaches kind of change things up and switch things around and how they back up. I know Justin Holbrook did a good job. Was it last year when we pretty much over the Easter period and then the week after that, everybody had one of the games off, and it was a great way of doing it. And they're going to have to come up with something as clever as that.
It kind of was the start of the squad rotation, wasn't it, with Holbrook last year? Because we can't. I remember we sat and we said, like the year before we went best 17 week in, week out, did we end up a bit jaded for that Warrington home semi-final? You could argue there was a bit of that, but then he really managed the squad a lot better that next year, didn't he? And that, I agree with you, Kev. I think we're in a pretty fortunate position that I know we're going to go on and talk about real changes in the speed of the game and stuff shortly, but our squad depth could be a really contributing factor to any success we might have this season. And going back to the Challenge Cup thing, Dave, I've just been looking on my phone, so sorry I was looking down. It's the 17th of October, so it's right in between Castleford at home and Leeds at home. So what a tough set of fixtures that is. And then when you talk about that Catalan game, that's on a Wednesday or Thursday night, that 5th, 6th of November. It's
travelling that, isn't it?
It is, it's madness.
Looking at those fixtures for the restart, though, have we got a decent run to begin with? Because Catalan don't normally travel too well. Then we stay at Leeds to play Leeds, and then Wakefield, Hull KR, Huddersfield, Hull KR, Toronto again. Is that a chance for Saints to get a little bit of a head of steam up, ahead of maybe facing Wigan at the end of September?
Well, yeah, but you say Catalan don't travel too well. I seem to try and block it out in my mind, but they did a job on us at Bolton. So coming back, I don't think that's a consideration too much for me. I think it takes its toll on them over a season. But first up, I think that's going to be a tough game. And if they treat it like a cup game, a semi-final, and come in with the right attitude, I don't think it's a gimme.
Good thing for us though, Kev. Tompkins is banned. He won't play.
Well, yeah,
he was banned, wasn't he? Just before it closed down. So I think he's still got 2 games to serve that 3-game ban.
Well, that is a positive. But yeah, Catalan and Leeds are 2 tough games. First up, Wakefield, Hull KR. You'd argue that you'd be going and expecting to win them. With no offence to each of the clubs, you'd expect to win them. Huddersfield have been going well before the shutdown as well, and they've got probably one of the more exciting players in Aidan Caesar, and who could just manage a game. And well, he did it against us at Totally Wicked, didn't he? Manage a game, and they're a tough opponent at the minute as well.
Cup games then. Oh, look, there's a Challenge Cup trophy.
You're going to keep saying this for every single picture you put up here.
This is like when you show your family album and everybody's bored of it. Are the crowds socially distancing there, do we think?
It looks like it a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, Salford in the Cup. That game is going to be played at Huddersfield, I think the 23rd of August, that weekend.
22nd.
Have we got unfinished business there after last season?
Yeah. I think, for me, as a fan, if we're going to target something this season, it's got to be the Challenge Cup. So when you talk about squad rotation, you talk about resting players, and when you look at the fixtures either side of the cup final, I think for me as a fan, I really want us to have a good go at that Challenge Cup this year. Because we're only 3 games from Wembley, technically, aren't we? And Salford, although they were a decent side last year and made it to the grand final, I think we showed round 1 that we can rip them apart if we put our game face on and throw the ball around like we can. So you'd expect that Saints are going to be in the quarter-final draw. And yeah, for me as a fan, I don't know what you two think, but I really want us to have a good go at that. I'd rather us rest our best players prior to the semi-final than play them against the likes of Leeds away or a Wigan away, and make sure that we're fully fit for every play in the cup semi, if we get that far.
I can't disagree with you, Kev. I'm desperate for us to win the Challenge Cup again.
12 years, it's too long for a club of our size.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we came so close and then didn't turn up on the day. And Warrington, their game plan was just perfect for playing against us.
Was a try though. Was a try.
Oh well, it was a try. But I mean, it's difficult because you want to win everything. You're greedy and you want to win everything. But yeah, I want to see us do well in the Challenge Cup, and I want to see us kind of right the wrong from last year and get to Wembley, even if we can't go, if we can't get in because of the current situation. I do want to see us lift that trophy.
I never want to see Kev as upset on a post-match video as we did after Wembley.
I didn't want to do that. You bullied me into doing that video. I was in no fit state to do that video.
Yeah, everybody got that.
You'll have to take that to the Redvee HR department, which unfortunately is just Dave. So,
back to the fixture restart a little bit. Obviously, the first couple of fixtures have been announced as being at Headingley, and then we've got one at the Totally Wicked as one of the stadiums that have agreed to host games. But the ones for September onwards are to be confirmed. Now, obviously, the government this week have discussed fans being back in the stadiums from October. I know Super League clubs have been lobbying the government, including Saints, showing how they can model the crowds to allow crowds back in safely. I was a little bit surprised that the government hadn't chosen any of the Super League games, considering the size of the crowds and the stadiums, to be considered for the fixtures or the trials in August. I know there's I think it's Goodwood, the horse racing, the snooker. You'd have felt an outdoor stadium, maybe Headingley, with a limited crowding, it might have been considered, but hopefully sooner we're going to see this sort of crowd rather than this sort of crowd.
Oh, he's got a new toy. Yeah, I'd say it would have been a good way to kind of test, wouldn't it? If it's feasible to have crowds back in by using rugby league. That's it. Some just quick maths that if we allowed 20% of people into the Totally Wicked based on capacity, it'd be just over 3,500 people. Now, if you think 3,500 spread out across 4 stands, or even if you make that a little bit bigger and make it to however many members we've got, and spread it out across the 4 stands, it would be feasible. I suppose the only problem is then the congregation of people when you want refreshments, if they ever open them, getting into the ground, getting out of the ground. These are all the things that need to be kind of worked upon. I'm sure they are part of what Saints have done, but yeah, that's probably where the little sticking points are, rather than turning around to people and saying, right, you might be a West Ham season ticket holder, but you've got to go in the East. And you just put up with it, wouldn't you, to be able to go and see some live rugby? And even if you've got to use a specific toilets, a specific entrance and exit, listen, I think we'd all do it, wouldn't we?
Is that like a specific toilet? Is that opposed to going into the men's or the women's, Kev?
Yes, it's exactly that. You sound like a man of experience there, Dave, anyway, so.
I think, as I understood it, we've got about 7,200 members, and I think our CEO Mike Rush had modelled on we could fit a metre plus 7,000 members in. So there's going to be 200 that come out the lottery, not getting a ticket, not getting a seat to sit in if that happens. But you kind of can tell from the way the fixtures have been done that they had some sort of idea it was going to be back end of September, early October. It's frustrating that we play Wigan on the 30th of September and then they're saying that people might be allowed back in on the 1st of October. Yeah. So I'm not sure Sky Sports are going to want that to not have a crowd, because I think that could probably be it's the earmark fixture of the Super League calendar, isn't it, Saints v Wigan? So yeah, that'd be a great first event to get fans back in, and let's hope that they can try and work towards that. But
that's Wednesday as well.
Is it? Is that Wednesday night?
Yeah, that's Wednesday. Yeah.
So yeah,
maybe that's how they're going to limit the crowds. Put big fixtures on midweek so people can't attend
on a school night. Yeah, but like you see how it works down in the NRL. I've been watching intently pretty much all of the NRL games, and they're doing it well over there. And I said right back at the start of this lockdown that once I knew the NRL was getting back going, we can learn a lot from the NRL, and they're doing it over there. They seem to be doing it safely. I know Melbourne went back into a state of kind of local lockdown, but the rest of Australia seem to be doing all right. I watched the Golden Point podcast yesterday, this week, and I think it was Luke Thompson that was on it. And Luke Thompson? You used to be the best prop in the world player for Saints, apparently. Yeah, and he was saying the players have gone back into a lot of so the players can only drive to training now, and they've got to go home and they can't go out anywhere apart from like food shopping with a mask on and stuff. So
I think did he play in bigger stadiums over in Oz?
Oh yeah, miles big. I mean,
I think that's the problem, isn't it?
The Canberra and Roosters game, which was the grand final repeat, which was on. I think that was at the cricket ground. That was it 80,000? That holds.
Yeah, I think it is. It's something ridiculous, isn't it? So, well, that's it. I think obviously you've got to look into Public Health England and Public Health Australia or whatever the equivalent is. The advice is going to be different because I mean,
situation's different.
Whichever way you look at it, we've been absolutely ravaged by excess deaths, haven't we? And Australia, I don't think have been hit as badly.
No.
I know they've had like localised ones, as you say, people going back into lockdown. But yeah, that's it. It's bigger stadiums. It's probably different advice. It's all got to be taken into consideration, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at that then, obviously it's a fast evolving situation, isn't it? I think the football is going to have a little bit to do with it as well, because obviously with the football season starting hopefully mid-September again, the likes of the Championship, the League One and League Two clubs probably aren't able to function without crowds. Unless there's a sudden spike again, you can imagine the way this government are going, the relaxing lockdowns, and if the football are going to have crowds in, you'd expect the rugby as well. So hopefully we'll be there sooner rather than later. Now, one thing we haven't discussed, I think we mentioned it on one of our previous videos, was the potential of James Graham coming back. We thought it was going to happen. It's now officially been announced. He's coming back until the end of the year. He's going to join a squad that obviously with Luke Thompson gone. Luke Thompson, listen, we've discussed that to death. Kev Cunningham, you watch a little bit more NRL than us, so you've watched James Graham a lot over the last couple of years. A good addition until the end of the year?
Yeah, I was really torn when the rumour surfaced about can he still do it, the difference between NRL and Super League. And ultimately, I think Mike Ruskin and Eamon McManus run a pretty tight ship, and I don't think it's a signing with the heart. I think they still believe. I think Jammer still believes that he's got something to offer, because one thing we can't do unless you go and sign like someone like the Takieo or Papalis or the big props in the NRL, you're not going to get a world class prop to fill the void that Luke Thompson would. But what we've got is a man who's coming back to finish it where he started. He's still got the quality. He's still got the engine. Okay, he might be a bit older and he might be a bit sore after some games, and he's probably not going to go back to back on a Saturday and then a Thursday. But he'll give, like he always did when he pulls on the Redvee, he'll give 110%, and he'll put his body on the line for the club and for the fans. And yeah, it's until the end of the season, and yeah, there's rumours about a couple of different players over there, but. Yeah, I'm glad, because we're going to need him. We're going to need all them props. You're going to need Kyle Amor, Jack Ashworth, Matty Lees, obviously Big Al. LMS is probably going to have to spell in at 8 or 10 throughout that period. So we're going to need him, and when we get on to the real changes and we talk about what the middle of the field looks like currently with E6 again and that kind of stuff, them poor blokes are going to be out on their feet, playing twice a week and having to defend 3, 4, 5 sets in a row with some of these set restart calls that are being made. But no, yeah, I'm pleased. I'm pleased he's coming back. It's short term. It's the right thing for him. No doubt he'll do the best he can for us. And
KP, is he a leader that we've lacked? Probably maybe since Paul Wellens retired. I know James Roby is a great captain, but he's not someone who's going to bawl people out behind the sticks when things have gone wrong, which we know what Jammer's like.
Jammer will
do.
Yeah, he's almost a different type of leader. I think when you've got like a leadership group, and you'd imagine that, as you say, James Roby's part of that, Louis part of that, Johnny Lomax is part of that. Lachlan Coote will be part of it. Tommy Makinson will probably be part of it. Just having another voice, someone who will almost make... It's a difficult thing to kind of dig one of your workmates out and turn around and go, that was you, that was all on you. You need to do this better. It's a tough thing to do. And obviously, I think it's a good sign until the end of the year. I think he's the right type of player. He's been over there, done it. Listen, we can't hide the fact that Super League is a step down from the NRL, if not 2 steps down at times from the NRL. So I still think he's got something to offer. As Kev was saying, you're going to have to start spelling people at prop who might not necessarily play at prop or haven't played at prop for a couple of years. So having bodies in that position is going to be good for us. And I've seen people on social media, not necessarily Saints fans, having a go at clubs for recruiting at this time, saying, well, you're expecting people to take pay cuts and you're still recruiting. You've still got to. We still need the numbers in there. And I would hazard a guess that James Graham isn't on a deal that a James Graham age 29 would be on. And I think he'll be on a bit of a reduced deal. Yeah,
and I think obviously, listen, Saints are a well-run club. Before they'll have done anything, they'll have consulted the players and said, listen, we know you've had pay cuts. We can bring player X in. Are you happy for us to do that? And listen, there's not many players in Saints squad I wouldn't have imagined who wouldn't have wanted James Graham to come back until the end of the season, because at the end of the day, listen, the pay cuts have happened. But when the players get back playing again, they'll want to win on the field and they'll want to win trophies. And James Graham potentially could help us do that.
Yep.
Agreed. Okay, we'll move on to rule changes then. Obviously, due to COVID, we followed the lead of the NRL with the 6 again rule. I know, listening to James Graham in his press call from Australia before he came over, he was saying it's great if you're on the attack, but not so great if you're in defence. Will that affect the clubs? I was going to say the likes of Wigan, who wrestle in the tackle so much because they won't be able to do it, and it'll make them play the ball quicker. But does it now affect Saints' style of play as well, given that Christian Woolford had implemented more of a wrestle in the tackle and trying to hold people down a bit longer? Does it now force us into a little bit of a rethink?
Yeah, that's a great point that you make there, Dave, about the wrestle. And I was thinking about this. Last night I was talking to one of my mates about it, and I think it forces us to scrap that idea, because we weren't really doing it as well as we probably wanted, or Christian Wolf wanted us to do it.
And we were still
probably did. We were, yeah. We lacked discipline at times, and we hadn't mastered it. This 6 again rule, you can't do it. You can't. The referees, I mean, I know we moan that we don't get the best side of most of the decisions anyway, because we're kind of there to be shot at. But if any level of ill discipline and the refs in Oz, and they'll be the same over here, they're straight on it. 6 again, the U2 goes off, you got another 6 tackles. And when we're talking then about James Graham and all the props needing, you see these blokes, like, I was watching that Papali the other day. He's an absolute beast, and he physically can't get back fast enough. So therefore, it's just 6 again or penalty, and it's going to be difficult. But do you know what? It'll suit us. It'll suit Wire, because we play that way. Leeds and Wigan, the way that they lie on in the ruck, they've got a lot of work to do, because otherwise they're just going to be on the back foot all the way through.
And that's what I was going to say. We talked about maybe defensively, but in attack, it probably suits our game more than any other potentially in Super League. Maybe Wigan, maybe Warrington as well, who like a quick play the ball. Teams who try and slow us down won't be able to do that. No. So hopefully we'll benefit, and our attack will get up to speed.
The other team that'll benefit from it, I think, will be Cass, because Paul McShane's a wizard at 9, isn't he? He's a very, very good dummy half, and I think that they like to play the ball quick as well, and obviously Danny Richardson's called out that Castleford are going to win the treble this year, so they're going to I think Cass will be up there, but it'll suit us, it'll suit Wire, unfortunately. and it'll suit Cass. But Wigan and Leeds will struggle.
KP, what do you think of this 6 again rule? Do you like it?
I've not seen enough of it. I don't really watch the NRL, so I've not seen enough of it. There's two little bits that I've discussed before. One is, does this now get rid of the Danny Richardson moments, like when we played Warrington and he kicked that penalty? The hooter goes, we've not been ahead the whole game. He kicks the penalty, we win the game. Does that take that moment away because you just get 6 again? What would you rather have? Someone who can put the boot through a ball and give you 2 points? Or do you want 6 again with 10 seconds to go? I mean, it's going to be interesting how they ref that. The other thing, because I think this was all looked at before COVID as well. I don't think it's necessarily because of. I think they were looking at it. The other thing I don't like is when you look at the Super League table, you've got Catalan have played 4 matches. The likes of Wigan and Cass have played 7. And we're bringing rules in now. Now, I understand some of them like scrapping as a scrums. That is because of COVID. And it's a wise decision. And you've got to bring stuff like that in because you've got to minimise the risk. But we're changing the rules when we're into a season. So what we're doing is we're playing a different game to when we started the season, and teams are at different levels. Teams are at 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, 7 games. I'm not comfortable with that. I get the scrum thing, but the 6 to go, you either bring that in at the start of a season and everybody plays to it, or at the end of a season, you say that's what we're going to go to next year. I don't get why it's been brought in now. I don't particularly like it, to be honest, being brought in now. I'd rather play, for a start, I want to play the same rules all across the world, because I'm sure football don't have different rules. The Aussie League in football doesn't have different rules to the Premier League. It might not have video refs. It might not have people of the same technical ability, but they'll all play by the same rule book, and we don't do that. And it properly grinds me gears that as a sport, we can't just sit down together and go, right, we're not going to make a rule change. Because another one they were on about bringing in was the 20-40 kick. Why do we need it? Why do we need it? We don't. There's other bits of the game that you could look at, like somebody hoofing it dead. This is a rugby union rule, but you hoof it dead and it goes dead in goal. You take the ball back to where you hoofed it because there's no skill to that. Bloody hell, I could put my boot through a ball from 50 metres out and it trickle over a dead ball line.
Kev Sinfield won Leeds 7 grand finals by doing that tactic. Do you remember? He used to do it all the time.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, he would hit touch as well rather than just it going dead in goal. I think it's not a good kick if you were putting the ball just dead in goal from your own half. I think that should not be rewarded. I know it's now 7 tackles, but that should not be rewarded with them having to come out from their own 20. I think that should be, if it's kicked from in your own half, you take the ball back. That's not an attacking kick. Sorry, I'm on my soapbox here. But I just don't like how we change the rules mid-season. So Catalan now get, whether it's help or hindrance, for 3 extra games, that they can do 6 again.
Yeah.
If it affects them well, they go on and win them 3 games. If not, they lose them. But we've brought a rule in that's halfway, 7 games into a season for some. I don't understand the logic of that.
Well, it's done, and we've got to go with it, haven't we? And we're going to play to those rules.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. It really is exciting. And I think it'll put a gulf between the top teams who take to it and the bottom teams. I mean, like, I was just looking then at the fixtures and I look at Toronto. I mean, they only got 22 squad players in Toronto because obviously Gary Wheeler's left Toronto, and they're going to be backing up midweek with rules like the 6 again. You're going to see some cricket scores. You're going to see some real big scores.
Is that like in the football then with the 5 substitutes rule, where it's going to help the bigger teams with bigger squads and fitter squads?
Probably.
Obviously, listen, the scrums have gone. I think we can, with COVID and the close contact, we can fully understand that one for the rest of the year, just to get the game going again. But yeah, can't wait. I think we better start wrapping this up, boys. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Phil Clark's got a bit of an issue with the scrum thing, and I agree with him. These blokes Luke Thompson played 60 minutes last week for Canterbury, 34 tackles, 34 times he's putting his body in on somebody else's, with probably somebody else on him, and I don't get it. The science about, I know it reduces the risk, but it's a contact sport, rugby league, where blokes are smashing each other all over the pitch for 80 minutes. I mean, people are talking about it doesn't open the game up and stuff, but the 6 again rule does open the game up. So, yeah, Phil Clark's a bit, I don't normally agree with Phil Clark. I don't normally agree with many Wigginers, to be honest. But, yeah.
I think the thought process behind it is a tackle is over pretty quickly.
Yeah. Scrums could last 15 seconds.
Yeah, they can last longer, and you get up to that. Is it 15 minutes? They say that maximises the risk if you're in contact with someone.
Right.
If you tackle someone and there's 2 of you tackling one bloke, there's obviously only 3. Well, there's 2 others. There's 3 contacts there.
Yeah,
if you think about the scrum, you've got your 12 players who are actually packing that scrum down close. I think that's the thinking behind it. Yeah, I'd have to look into that, though. I might just be making it up.
Right, boys. Thank you very much for joining us. We're hoping this technology is recorded. Listen, I'm going to be devastated if I finish this call in a minute. There's no recording been recorded. We'll have to come back. Start the conversation again.
We're not doing
we're a couple of weeks out, so hopefully over the next couple of weeks, the shows should start ramping up. And then once we're underway again, we'll have the preview, we'll have the post-match reaction video, and then hopefully we might have a new final word video on maybe a Monday evening using this technology. Because I think if one thing this lockdown has shown us is that this stuff works well.
Well, we'll see about that if it's recorded, eh?
Kev Cunningham, thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. It's good to see you both.
Yes,
sorry for winding you up when you're not on the video, but we know you see it.
I know, yeah. I was starting to get a bit of a complex. Three shows in a row. I'll blame Dave Howarth. I don't like you. Don't like using his name.
I'd worry when we're not talking about you, Kev. That's when you want to know.
Yeah. Right, okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you very, very soon for the next episode of Redvee TV. And if you've survived this far, you probably deserve a medal. Catch you soon.
Yeah.